There you go.
Good morning. Good morning, Debbie.
Good morning, Bertie.
We're live.
We are. We're
We
live.
are.
We
And it's
are.
December.
Live. It is December. It is the 3rd of December. We're in it. I put my Christmas tree up at the weekend and it was snowing.
Well, what better time to do it?
I know. It's so very exciting. It's so very exciting. So Merry Christmas. I'm one of the people who start saying Merry Christmas to everybody like now until like the end of Christmas. And then I say Happy New Year to everybody until like March. I'm one of these really annoying people.
I never stop saying it's Christmas. I just say that all the time. It's just a thing.
What even
should we have a drink? It's Christmas. It's the middle of July. I know, but it's nearly there. Anyway, there you go. Top tip. It's always Christmas.
Oh yeah. Don't wish it could be Christmas every day. Just make it Christmas every day.
Every day is Christmas.
Every day. You are in control of your own lives, people. Create your own destiny. What are we talking about today, apart from Christmas and destiny?
Today we are talking about, I don't think we're going live on LinkedIn. I think it's broken again. Let's see if we can do it quickly. Delete on LinkedIn.
Silly technology. Shall I talk about what we're talking about?
And then, well, yes, I'm going to press the button. Save changes. Let's see if it works. Yeah, you tell us. What are we going to talk about today, Debbie?
What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about print.
We are. We are asking.
Actual paper. Actual paper. Is print dead? Yeah, exactly. Because I think that question got bandied around a lot, especially when social media came along. Like, what do we need like print for? Who's going to send stuff through the post? Like, email is electronic mail. Like, woo, I've got another electronic mail. And now we're like, I have another electronic mail. I know that you're the king of inbox 0, but I am currently the queen of inbox 745.
Oh, Debbie. I just want to come round and sort it all out for you. You know, when someone's got a messy house, you want to tidy. It's like, that's how I feel.
Even count my promotions. In my promotions tab, I've got 12,713.
Right.
It's a mess. And just too many emails. So I was really shocked and kind of excited when through the post something arrived that would have ordinarily been an email.
Yep.
Which was this, a paper thing that said, is your website destroying your consultancy business? Like, fear. And I was like, oh, like, and on the front, it's got my address. I'll cover that. Oh, no, I did cover that up really badly. But anyway, it says, attention, Debbie Clark, your entire business could be under threat if your website is making these costly mistakes. I'm like, oh, shit, what is it? My entire business is under threat. I mean, it's a gatefold. It's a a fun thing of lots of stuff going on, and essentially it's trying to scare the shit out of me.
Right.
The myths and the truth, and my website is destroying my consultancy business. And here are the things that I need to know. From Chris Cardell, the UK's leading authority on entrepreneurial success. I mean, I've never heard of Chris Cardell.
Anyway. I've heard of Chris Cardell. Well, anyway, we'll talk about it in a bit. Yeah.
Okay, so he is apparently the UK's leading authority on entrepreneurial success, and he's telling me that my website is rubbish, and basically I need to buy his services. And if I don't buy his services, then I'm just going to fail. I'm going to be a failure. But it's not my fault, and if I work with him, it's fine. And I mean, I'm not into this type of marketing anyway. This fear, type of thing. But it was just really interesting to me that it came through the post. And essentially gives me a website to go to watch a video, and then I'm going to buy their stuff. And I thought, yeah, it really made me pay attention. I still haven't gone to the website and I haven't done the thing. I have not done the thing that it's asked me to do, but it made me sit up and pay attention. Whereas if this had arrived via email, it would have just been delete, straight away. So Chris Cardell managed to attract my attention enough to make it the focus of this, chat. And I just thought that's super interesting, isn't it? Because we don't often get things through the post that isn't just bills, essentially, and we definitely don't get things through the post that's kind of aimed at our businesses. Generally, I think this is the first piece of post I've had in a decade that is trying to kind of sell me consultancy services.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think if you've got like as I said, like a business, like a physical business address, right? I think you probably do get more. But I think, targeting your specific niche. I mean, I've not had anything from him, and I'm on his mailing list as well. So he's got my. Why has he not mailed me?
Yeah, come on, Chris Cordell. Why haven't you mailed me? What's wrong with Bertie? And then also later, and I know we get this anyway, but I thought businesses are doing this, and we kind of it's something that we skip over as a marketing method. I think as that first port of call to kind of, you've never heard of me, here I am. And obviously I've got Prime Video here sending me stuff, a 30-day trial. And I was like, actually, print definitely isn't dead, is it? And I think people are now starting to use it because we're just ignoring emails. We're just ignoring those messages because there's too many of them. Yeah. And what it's doing is interrupting. It's doing that. It's interrupting marketing, isn't it? Because I'm having my cup of tea and I'm listening to Radio 6 or whatever in the morning. And then I'm like, oh my God, my consultancy business is destroyed because of my website.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really interesting subject because I think people have not, like the kids of today have probably never even done print advertising. I've built businesses through Mailshots, mail merging, and all that sort of stuff, and I had a really, really good conversion rate on mailings, and it's a really effective way of targeting people. But it's the same with anything. Like, you need to have the right list. You need to be targeting the right people. Like, I'm sure that's something. Bless you.
Sorry, carry on.
So I'm sure that consultancy thing hasn't just been, it's not like they've paid the Royal Mail to go and drop it down your street, right? It's like, they have targeted you specifically. It's
got my address on it. Yeah,
exactly. And that's that's an effective way because that has cut through the noise. The fact that you're even talking about that now, like, if that had just come as a cold email, like you've never would have even noticed it. The only reason I remember that name is because he was one of the first gurus at the time. So going back to like 2005 was back in the Fill My Belly days. I used to like pay for his courses, subscribe to his stuff. And he had loads of resources. So there's loads of stuff that I've learned from that guy, but I've not seen him about for years. So I'm talking like 15 years ago. So he's still going and he's still relevant to some degree, but he's just using different things.
Yeah.
So print, I think if you've not tried, it doesn't necessarily have to be expensive. Like, if you're going to print loads of stuff and send it out willy-nilly, then of course it's going to cost a fortune. But if you're like for somebody like you, Debbie, who's targeting, you understand your niche, who you're targeting, like a mail shot campaign or some sort of leaflet can actually be really, really effective way of getting in front of those people.
Yeah, I think it's a super interesting thing. And David's just left a comment which says, I've sent high-end promo boxes with a brochure, a business card, and a bespoke made gift, and it definitely gets attention, and got 2 to 3 video meetings by doing it during lockdown last year. Yeah, exactly. I remember hearing somebody, and they said they send like something in the post, which includes like a chocolate bar and a tea bag, and says, relax, go and check out my sales page, have a cup of tea and a chocolate on me, and if you fancy meeting up. And it's like, it really does cut through the noise, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, if you keep the message simple, have a really clear call to action. I mean, a really good example of where I used to use Mailshots was with Fill My Belly, signing up takeaways. Yeah. So we would just have the takeaway list and send out Mailshots. But there was a point within that journey that we were converting 10%. So for every 10 Mailshots we sent out, we'd get 1 sign up. Yeah, so it was a hugely effective way for us. Yeah. And all it was, a very simple mail shot, tear off form at the bottom. They just signed it, sent it back with their menu, and we would list them. That was it. It was really, really simple. So if you've got really clear messaging on there, really clear call to action, then print mail shots really work. I think where print doesn't necessarily work is where people just get lazy with it and just do things like what everybody else is doing. And this is the problem with any marketing or social media marketing at all, isn't it? Really, like, it's, if you're just doing the same stuff, like if people do a trade show, let's go and get some pens printed, it's like, because I mean, how many times you picked up a pen and thought, I'm definitely going to go and work with that? It's rubbish though, isn't it? Like, but there's you can get smart with this stuff.
Yeah, totally. I think it's really interesting. And like David said, that means that you can get video meetings. And I think it just means that you've maybe done a bit more, you thought a little bit more, like there's a little bit more care and attention into it, which I think makes people feel special. What's interesting about this one, actually, the whatever his name is, the dude, Chris Cardell,
Yeah.
is because my address isn't on out there in the world, it's just my street name. It just says Debbie Dudar and then my street name, and it got to me. Debbie Dudar is now like the house name, isn't it? It's now like the name of my house. So my postman must be like, oh, I know where Debbie Dudar is. I know what house that is, which I kind of love.
I'm gonna well, they work really hard to like they have to try and deliver the mail, don't they? I'm gonna do some tests. I'm gonna go to Debbie Dudar and see if it gets there. Then Debbie Dudar.
Let's see how much stuff we get there. But I think if you're, the other thing is, say like if you did that mail shot and you send that out to all those takeaways, and then you follow that up with a phone call a week later, then they're like, oh yeah, like there'll be some recognition of your brand name, won't there? So it's kind of like, it can be like that first stage in somebody just being aware that you exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so that conversion rate could have gone up even more if then you'd follow it up with a phone call, or maybe even you go and turn up and, oh, I sent you this thing a week ago. Did you get it? My name's Bertie. We do Fill My Belly. And it just helps to kind of break that ice and start to build that relationship. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be going and sending mail shots out. I think if I had a slightly different business, and maybe it was business to business, I might think, oh, actually, what businesses do I want to work with? Who would I love to, build a relationship with and do it that way? I think how I use print is, once somebody's working with me, I'll send them something in the post to say thank you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a unique card that's been designed for me and my clients, and a nice little booklet that's got some of my branding on it. And that just helps to kind of develop that relationship as well. So I think there's different ways that you can use print. And I love it if I order something, say like from somewhere like Etsy, and I get a little postcard that says, thank you so much, Debbie, for your order. This is what makes small businesses grow. And then I think, yay, it gives me a little bit of an ego boost, and maybe says, take a picture and post it on Instagram. So I think there's a lot of different ways that you can think about integrating print into that customer journey, whether that's right at the beginning or kind of when you've had that service. And I think it's definitely not one to kind of ignore.
No, yeah, definitely not. And it's one of those things that if you haven't tried, then test it.
Yeah.
And test it out. But it's the same. It's the same with anything like we were saying before. You've got to get a little bit more creative with these things. I mean, we're quite fortunate actually now that, because that print has almost gone the other way. Like, let's go back to like the 80s, right? Like that was like the 80s Mad Men. That was when print, you would literally get the same amount of letters these days you would emails. Like it was constantly, wasn't it? You were always targeted by these things. They had to get smart. I was really fortunate to have to be in a meeting once with one of like the original 80s Mad Men. Can't remember his name, which is terrible, but he was like full of stories. And one of the most interesting things he was telling me about this concept of relative disruption. And like, so when you're trying to cut through that noise, like, how do you actually do it? So back in the 80s, the only way of communicating with people was through mail. So, you had to, like, if you've got 20 letters on the mat, how are you going to get yours opened? So, there's all sorts of different things. But the example that he gave was, like, you can literally put on there, like, you can just put sex or something, and then someone's going to open it. It's like, what about our, do you want to get your boiler serviced? It's like, it doesn't really fit. It's not, you're getting the attention, but it's like clickbait, isn't it? And that's not the way to do it. But the best example that I heard from him was when they sent out a letter in an opened envelope. So if you get the letter and it's already open, what's the first one you're going to pick up? It's the open one. Who the fuck's been reading my mail? And then the headline of the letter was, if you felt like this about someone reading your mail, how would you feel about someone burgling your house? And then it was selling burglar alarms.
So clever.
Brilliant example of how to do it. I mean, that's going to trigger somebody, isn't it? It's going to go either way, but you're always going to remember it. And that's what we're trying to do with this stuff. So there's some really, really clever things you can do with print. And I suppose it extends to everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you haven't used... Sorry?
I did a little prayer at the end, yes.
Yeah.
We can this to many things. Pray to the God of marketing. Help me build my business. I love it. That was a good conversation.
It was.
I think it's good. And for those listening, just have a think about how you could You know, what could you do that's a bit interesting? How can you grab people's attention? And based on your recommendation, I'm now going to go to Chris Cardell's website with my own personalized password and see what he's got to say. Why not? Why not check him out?
And that stuff is really easy to do as well. Like if anyone's thinking of doing that and wants to be able to send out those almost that look bespoke, personal to you. Like I know how to do all of that stuff. Like I've just done it for years. So if you need any advice on that, do get in touch and we can definitely help you.
Oh,
so,
lovely. That's a good invitation, isn't it?
It is a good invitation right there.
What? I know how to do a mail merge though, because I've worked in admin in many different jobs and sat there mail merging things in Word. I'm so pleased I don't know how to do that anymore.
Right. Well, fortunately, you don't have to do that anymore now. You can do everything you do all online. Everyone will get personalized stuff. You don't even have to touch a piece of paper. It's all magic. And a lot of the time, it's cheaper than buying an actual stamp itself. Like this is how good technology's got. Like you can do some really clever stuff now.
Oh my God, I love it. Maybe you should do a mini workshop. But thank you very much for listening, watching, however you've been digesting this wonderful advice we're giving. And we'll be back next week.
We will be back next week. Is it? No, it's not Christmas yet. Yeah, we've got another couple more. We've got a couple more in the tank.
Yes.
For the end of the year. Exactly. Yeah, we'll be here next week. Thanks a lot, Debbie. It's been wonderful chatting to you as always.
And you, gorgeous.
Next week, 10 minutes-ish of chats every Friday, 10 a.m. Bye-bye.